All true tea comes from the Camellia sinensis plant, and it's an evergreen plant that does best grown at high elevations. Tea can definitely be a sensory experience. I think it actually involves all five senses. When you're tasting tea to appreciate tea, the first thing you do is you look at the leaf, and then as you're pouring water, you hear the sound of the water landing on the leaf. They make this tiny little crackling noise, and then you get the aroma. And then, of course, there's taste. As far as I'm concerned, that's the main sense. And then finally, after the water's been drained off them, you can feel the leaves. Sometimes they're very spongy. So there's all five senses that are involved in drinking tea. So there are 6 different types of tea. All these types of tea are very different, not only in the way they're produced, but in their flavor profile. Green tea is probably the closest you're going to get to a freshly plucked leaf. White tea is also very close to a freshly plucked leaf, but it's usually got a lot of pekoe on the leaf, and pekoe is the tiny little hairs that form on the new buds. The hairs serve as protection for the bud as it's growing. Oolong teas are partially oxidized, so they can be anywhere from green and very floral to darker, and black tea is probably the tea we're most familiar with, and it's allowed to go through the full oxidation process where the tea turns what we know as either a dark brown or black, and then pu'er, or I should say dark teas, or sometimes known as heicha, they are aged teas. Yellow tea is plucked, but then it is wrapped in cloth. Minghuan is the term that's used, and that allows the flavors to swelter into themselves. It kind of brings the flavor out and then pushes it back into the leaf. In China, I think it was 2737 BC, the Emperor Shennong was the herbalist emperor who is purported to have discovered tea. One of the legends is that he was sitting under a tea tree and some leaves fell into his boiling pot of water, and he tasted it and he thought, this is great, I love this. Tea became popular in the Western world probably around the late 1600s. Firstly, it was only enjoyed by the very, very wealthy. And England initially got their teas from Holland before they started bringing them from China. It became very, very popular when Catherine de Braganza, who was the Portuguese Infanta princess, married Charles II. And she was a huge fan of tea, so she brought many, many chests of tea to England, and those who aspired to be a bit more regal developed a taste for tea. Tea has a very colorful history.